A comment I get a lot about many of my super low price budget builds is that they're not very upgradable, and I also get a lot of questions from people who have built systems like these wondering what they should upgrade. Because of this, I decided to play out a little scenario to show you how I would upgrade a budget system. This is my $100 gaming PC I built a few months back, and I wanted to take the mindset of someone who built a system like this, then say a year later saved up another $100 to spend on upgrades, and show you what I would do personally to upgrade the system. Now, before I talk about upgrades, I need to briefly fill you in on what specs the system's currently rocking. This is an upgraded Dell Optiplex with an i5-2400, 6GB of RAM, a 250GB mechanical hard drive, 600W EVGA PSU, and an HD 7870 2GB graphics card. Now, I had to do a lot of deal hunting to put this together, and if you want to see the full story behind this, including in-depth explanations, benchmarks, and proof of pricing for all parts purchased, then I'd highly implore you to go ahead and check out the original video about this PC, linked in the description down below and the card above. So to upgrade this system and truly take advantage of every dollar, the method that I would go about upgrading is buying and replacing a part, then selling the old part to recoup part of the cost. This will allow you to get much better upgrades than if you just put those old parts in a box in your closet or toss them out. There are four main places I would look to upgrade on this system, and those include the CPU, graphics card, RAM, and storage. Each of these should have a noticeable impact on gaming performance, with the exception of storage, which I'll get into later in the video. Believe it or not, by buying upgrades and selling the old parts, I'll hopefully be able to make upgrades to all four areas discussed with a net cost of $100 or less. The first parts I'd look at upgrading in the system are the CPU, RAM, and graphics card before even considering upgrading to an SSD. The current CPU in this system is an i5-2400, which is a great budget CPU, but upgrading this will provide a noticeable bump in performance. The only real obvious upgrade to this would be an i7-2600, but these sell for around $80 to $90 on eBay, which is too high for my upgrade budget. What I went with is the Xeon E3-1230. This is a $50 CPU that's essentially an i7-2600 without the integrated graphics, and surprisingly enough, works with these Dell prebuilts. This is great as it gives us a CPU upgrade without blowing the budget. i5-2400s sell for $25 to $30 on eBay, so after shipping and fees, I'd easily be able to recoup $20 for the i5-2400 that I no longer need, making the net cost of this new 4-core 8-thread Xeon right around $30. Replacing the CPU is pretty simple. You'll need a screwdriver, a rag or paper towel, and some thermal paste. Most any paste will work fine, even something like this 99-cent tube from eBay. To switch these CPUs out, I took off the side panel, unscrewed the CPU cooler, and set it fan side down away from the socket. I then cleaned the old thermal paste off the i5-2400 and the bottom of the cooler. I pushed down and out on the socket retention arm and opened the CPU socket. I carefully removed the 2400 and replaced it with the Xeon, gently setting it in, lining up the notches in the CPU with the corresponding spots in the socket. A good rule of thumb is to only handle the CPU by its edges to prevent getting contaminants on the gold CPU contacts. I then closed the socket in the reverse order as before, applied a pea-sized amount of thermal paste to the center of the CPU IHS, and reattached the cooler, making sure to tighten down in a cross pattern so even pressure is applied. Once this was done, my new CPU was installed. After selling the old CPU, this leaves $70 more for other upgrades. The next item I decide to upgrade is the RAM. 6GB isn't a great amount, and the fact they are mismatched sticks with different capacities means they're running on single channel mode versus dual channel, which in some instances can have a big impact on performance. What I upgraded to is a 2x4GB kit of G.Skill DDR3 RAM, which I got in a combo deal for right around $25. This is a pretty average price for buying DDR3 locally, and I've many times found 8GB kits for $20. Now, 6GB of RAM on eBay will generally sell for between $10 and $15, meaning after shipping and fees, I should easily be able to get $8 for this RAM. This means the net cost of this RAM upgrade would be $17. This got us both an increase in capacity and an upgrade to dual channel operation. Upgrading RAM is super easy. With the side panel off, I pushed down on all four retention clips. I then lifted both sticks out of their slots. I then took the two new sticks and lined the notch on the RAM stick up with the notch in the slot. Once lined up, I simply lowered the sticks into place, pressing down until a click noise is made and the clips on both sides are closed. And boom, my new RAM was installed. If your budget allows for it, going for 16GB would be a good idea, as it'll give you even more memory headroom for modern RAM-hungry games and allow for better multitasking. The next big place to upgrade would be the graphics card. Currently, the system has an HD 7870, which for budget gaming is great. It has 2GB of video memory and performs surprisingly well in even modern gaming. And now that our CPU and RAM have been upgraded, our system can handle a more powerful graphics card. What I went with is this RX 470 that I got for only $64 on eBay, but because this is an abnormal price, I'll value it at $75 for the purpose of this video. After eBay fees and shipping, I should easily be able to get around $40 for the old HD 7870 that's getting replaced. This makes the net cost of this GPU right around $35. Installing the new graphics card is also relatively simple. All I had to do was push open the PCIe retention arm, squeeze and pull out the PCIe connector, and finally press the PCIe slot sliding lock to the open position. With this done, the graphics card can simply lift out. I lined the new graphics card up with the slot and clicked it into place. I plugged in the 8-pin PCIe power connector and then closed the PCIe retention arm. Because this is a new graphics card, you should use Display Driver Uninstaller, or DDU for short, to remove the old graphics drivers, then download and install the new drivers from AMD's website. Once this is done, your GPU should be fully up and running. So again, to recap our total net cost so far, when we add up the net cost of the CPU, RAM, and GPU upgrade, we have a total of $82 spent on upgrades thus far. This means I technically only have $18 left. The final thing I wanted to upgrade was storage. With only $18, the only thing we're going to possibly get in terms of an SSD is a 120GB drive, which will work well for a boot drive fitting our applications and one or two of our favorite games. So what I decided to do was blow the budget by $2 and get a 120GB Kingston SSD for $20 on Amazon. This is an upgrade that'll make the PC feel much snappier and overall feel faster in basic computer tasks. Because I'll also be keeping the 250GB drive I started with, it means the net cost for the storage upgrade is still $20. Installing the SSD is easy. I simply plugged a SATA power cable into the SSD, then used the hard drive SATA cable to connect the SSD. I then use the SATA cable from the disk drive on the hard drive so the SSD gets boot priority. I zip tied the SSD into place, and that was it for installing the SSD. Then I had to install Windows on the SSD, which I won't get into in this video, but will link a video guide about it in the description down below. Once Windows was installed, all the upgrades were complete. Now yes, I did go over the budget by $2, but if I did count the RX 470 at the $64 price I paid versus the $75 market value I used for the video, then I would have been under budget. Either way, even at a net cost of $102, I think there were a ton of great upgrades made. So now let's go ahead and talk about performance. What I decided to do was retest the $100 gaming PC in its pre-upgrade state and upgrade state to test to see how much of a difference these upgrades made in real gaming benchmarks. The games I decided to test are Apex Legends, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Far Cry 5, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. These have varying levels of difficulty and represent a diverse range of games. Starting with Far Cry 5 at 1080p medium settings, I used the built-in benchmark and saw a huge increase in performance. Before the upgrades, the system averaged 35 FPS, which really isn't very impressive, but after all the upgrades, that average was increased to 59 FPS, which is an 80% increase in performance and shows just how much more raw power this system has. Moving on to Apex Legends, the only multiplayer game tested, I tested at 1080p low settings for before and after. Before the upgrade, the system averaged 82 FPS, and that average was increased to 117 after the upgrades. This was a decent bump in performance, but I also wanted to test at high settings, which I could only do after upgrading because of only having 2GB of video memory to start. The upgraded system at 1080p high settings saw an average of 97 FPS with 1% lows of 67. Before and after were both decent experiences, but after upgrading, the game both performed better and looked noticeably better because of the ability to play at much higher settings. The next game tested was Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which at 1080p 1080p medium settings saw a huge change in performance. Before the upgrades, the system averaged only 31 FPS, and after the upgrades, the average was increased to 58 FPS, which is a huge jump in performance. Going from around 30 to around 60 FPS is a very big deal because it can make the game go from playable to enjoyable. The final benchmark was Assassin's Creed Odyssey, a very hard to run game. At 1080p medium settings, we saw an increase in average FPS from 30 to 41. This is about a 33% increase in performance, which is a pretty good jump in my opinion. As you can see, in many of the titles tested, the system performs noticeably better after these upgrades. Not only is gaming improved, but because of the addition of an SSD and increase of RAM, the overall ease of use of the computer has increased immensely. Deciding to sell the old parts to recoup upgrade cost allowed me to make some very impactful upgrades. I hope you were able to learn something from this video or just enjoyed watching it, and hopefully this inspired some of you to make upgrades to your personal systems. In the end, I'm super happy with this project and think it was a complete success. So yeah guys, I think this wraps this video up. Like the video if you liked it, consider subscribing, and this is Matt from Tech by Matt, signing out.